Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and I invite you to sit back, relax, and take a load off as we take you on a trip around these leagues, giving you our in depth analysis and our feedback on how we view things. And ways we invite you to hit any one of our social media outlets and give us your opinion. Hit us up and holler at us, we holler back. Um, Over the course of time, you'll see that my opinion matters. Steve, not so much. But without further ado, let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Steven Rubain.
All right, let me get this show started. This is kind of like our season opener show. This is our season opener.
Oh yeah,
I feel reinvigorated. I feel re-energized. I'm ready to get into some sports. So we have a whole lot to go over today. So I'm
it
so
feels
excited.
good to be back, man.
It feels great to be back. You know, it was a long time. A lot happened in that month we were off, and so we can't get to everything
It was
today.
a little over a month.
A little over a month.
But
yeah.
that's that little blank spot that they need to get rid of.
Yeah.
We got basketball, we got football, and we got baseball,
Yes.
along with soccer. There's no way there should be a law where all these sports fans got this little break where it's like that nasty time of the season.
It is a nasty time, but this time of the season also is an exciting time because everybody has hope. This is a time of year where in college football and the NFL, people are all like, "This is my year's team. This is the year we're going to do it this year."
Hey, I see you have hope because I see you finally got your hat on.
Oh my goodness, yeah, we're going to get into that a little bit today.
Hat on, Steve.
It was a long time coming, but finally I can say with pride, I am a Washington Commanders fan. Daniel Snyder is gone. The devil is dead.
Oh, back in the driver's seat?
Back in the driver's seat. We now got real ownership who really cares about their fans, and it's exciting. We're going to get into it.
Yay! There we go. Steve's team is back together again.
And actually, this is a good time to be a fan of the DMV. You know, people who from the area know what the DMV stands for. But, the Baltimore Orioles are in first place. Washington Commanders has hope. Maryland football and basketball looks like they're going to have good, strong years. For the first time, it felt like the 80s again. It felt like the time when we used to dominate sports back in the day. It's been a long time coming, so I'm excited.
Hey, we're excited for you, Steve, and we're excited for your town. So let's give them a warm welcome. There we go.
Right. Let's go do this. You ready to get into some news?
Hey, let's tap in.
Let's get started. So I think let's start with baseball. So this is the heart of the baseball season. And, those who watched this last year know that we kind of put baseball on the back burner because, quite frankly, baseball is not exciting until you get to the All-Star game. So now that we passed the All-Star game, we just had the trade deadline this week. And so there were basically two main moves over the offseason for this trade deadline. The biggest one was the Houston Astros getting back Justin Verlander, the 40-year-old who was several-time Cy Young Award winner, helped lead him to the World Series win last year, has come back to Houston, and the Houston Astros now believe they are the team to beat in baseball. But I say the Baltimore Orioles still are in contention. So they're the first place Orioles, best record in the American League. And so it's going to be interesting to see. But another team that made some moves was the Texas Rangers, who's battling the Houston Astros for first place. They also picked up a pitcher, Max. And so he's going to be a big star for them. And so let's see the Houston Tech or Astros, who's going to be the team to win in the AL West. So that's American League. Now, the National League didn't have quite the big moves, but you still have the Dodgers, you still have the Braves. And so those are the two teams, I think, are the two teams to beat in the National League. So it's going to be a 1-2 to see which one of those two teams will be the best team. So the main thing with baseball, like I said, given this time off, we had some time to watch a lot of baseball over our month off. So I'm going to do a little quiz for you, Pack, and let's see, because I know you're not a baseball fan.
I was more into it. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say this, but a little older cat. I liked it when the pitchers used to carry the game, like Hershiser.
Right.
You know how exciting those games were, shutting out people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where he's throwing those pitches and everybody's hanging onto their seat like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? It's not like that for me anymore. You know,
No,
the game has evolved.
the game has evolved, and baseball needs to evolve with the game, because now in the social media era, you got to really push stardom. I'm gonna throw a couple of names at you. I'm gonna give you an easy one first. Shohei Ohtani. When I say his name, what does his name mean to you?
Say his name again.
Shohei Ohtani.
You got me there. You got me there.
Now, see, Shohei Ohtani right now is probably the biggest star in baseball, and
The biggest star in baseball.
He's the biggest star in baseball right now by far.
Wow.
And the fact that you don't even recognize him, especially given that he plays for the Los Angeles Angels, that kind of tells you where baseball is today.
But you know, since me, when it comes to baseball, you know, I'll go to a game. I'm more one of those when I'm at the game, let's get into it. Type of people, let's climb into it.
Mhm.
But baseball, like I told you, without the pitchers being the focal aspect, it's a little different for me.
And I understand it, but that's why I'm getting to the point of the issue with baseball now is, if I say Tom Brady, if I say Aaron Rodgers, you immediately know who they are.
Yeah.
If somebody who is not a football fan, you say those names, they know who they are. If I say Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson or LeBron James, you know who they are. But in baseball, unless you're a baseball fan, these people have no name for you. I'm gonna throw another one at you. Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, okay.
Crickets. He right now is the most exciting player in the game of baseball. This is
Wow.
a future superstar.
But I'm guessing, you know, somebody that's high on baseball, you know that.
Right. But I'm saying that's my point.
You have to be high on baseball.
If you're a baseball fan, you may know who these people are, of course. But if you're somebody who doesn't follow baseball, you have no clue. And this is the problem baseball is having right now.
I get what you're saying. So it's like the kid that doesn't know anything about anything. He still knows who LeBron. He still knows who Jordan is. He still knows who Kobe is.
Correct.
And he might not even been living at that time, but they know who these people are.
That's correct.
Now, if football, same thing.
Now, if I say Lionel Messi, do you know who he is?
You'll still get this from me.
Yes, he's probably the biggest soccer star in the world right now. So, I mean, it's just something in our
soccer's huge. You
soccer's huge.
I just really climbed into soccer. Soccer at first to me was, you know, when they used to be the argument, what's the real football? I like the soccer. Don't put them against each other. Soccer's soccer. Right. Football's football. And let's do it like that.
Absolutely.
Soccer is exciting to me now.
Soccer is exciting to me, and he now has come over to Inter Miami. He's joined the Miami football club, and that's a huge move for that league to get a star, international star to play in their league, who's like the biggest player right now in the world. So
in baseball, what's the hot team right now?
The hot team right now is the Baltimore Orioles. Right now, they've been in first place for a while. They've kind of, the last month have been. And the thing about the Orioles is that they're a small market team that has, while they have great young stars, they have nobody who's making any money. And so the big question for them is going to be, can they keep these stars? Because that's always been their big issue, is that they get great stars like Manny Machado, and then when it's time for them to get paid, they move on to the big market teams that will pay them the big money. And so that's going to be the interesting thing for baseball, is how can they keep the small market teams competitive? So we're going to see. It's right now for this year, this is a strong year for them, but the next year or two, will they be able to keep those stars? So baseball, like I said, we're going to spend a lot more time on baseball. I don't want to spend too much time today. I just want to kind of introduce
you know what I'm saying? I'm just happy to be back in the
yeah,
driver's
absolutely. Seat. Well, you're in the driver's seat of what? We're going to talk about that in a second. I'm not sure what he's in the driver's seat of, but we'll get to that.
You know what it is.
Let's get to a little basketball, though. Let's get to a little NBA and basketball
NBA
news.
Action.
Well, while we were gone during the break, they had the Summer League. And unlike in baseball, where they don't promote their stars, the NBA does do a great job of promoting their young stars. And I'm sure you guys all heard this name, Victor Wembanyama. So this is the next great thing in international sports, coming to the NBA from France. 7'3", plays like a point guard. And so I'm gonna get your opinion on this. Now, as you know, the hype coming in.
Or you want their opinion?
Well, I want your opinion first, and then we're gonna ask for their opinion. the hype coming in was this is the greatest prospect since LeBron James, better than LeBron James coming in as a high school player.
Yeah, they introduce him as the next Kobe.
The next Kobe. Well, how you want to say it. Okay, either way. If it was me,
this hateful the way you put that right there.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, Kobe was a top 15 pick. The first couple of years in the league, he played a nice supplementary role, but he was definitely not the best player on the Lakers for his first 4 or 5 years. It took about 5 years for him to become.
The Lakers already had stars, and they were letting those stars shine.
Well, you could say that, but you can also say that. I mean, it took him time. It wasn't like he just came out of the box and was just Kobe Bryant. He was a prospect.
I'm gonna let you go on with your point, Steve.
Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that
go on with your point.
The point I'm trying to make is that Victor Wembanyama came out and they just hyped him up to be the next huge thing.
He was
but the problem though is that now in today's social media machine, he was just given this huge elite status, like he was just going to come out of the box and just revolutionize the game of basketball. And quite right now, he's a prospect. I mean, there's no question that there's talent there. Now, if I were the Spurs, I would not have played him in summer league, and I'm gonna tell you why. You had nothing to benefit from playing him in summer league,
they had and you had legs up under him, Steve.
No, like I said, you had nothing to benefit from playing him in summer league because all you did now is just expose him. Because now his weaknesses are being exposed. Players like Draymond Green are like licking their chops. They said, this man, he's 7'3", 190 pounds soaking wet. I'm going to just knock him to the ground every time. I'm going to have a field day on him. So all you've done now is just shown players how to play against him. At times he looked lost.
I disagree. I believe that this young man, moving from one league to the next, going to the best league there is, the NBA, you have to let them get their win. They have to see the difference in speed. They're now playing against elite athletes, and he will bulk up. They're letting him know what he needs to have when he hits that floor.
Okay, so then they could have just waited till September, October when training camp starts, get him time to bulk up then, play against the top guys.
They have to show the young man.
But show him what?
You showed him what he needs to improve on, what he needs to work on. And the only way to do that, you don't want to do that during the season. When the record is involved, you want to go and just where they're doing
if you're
where it doesn't matter.
Well, no, if you're planning on him being your man, the guy, I would not have exposed him to not just criticism, but to other players being able to scout him. The one thing that stood out for him was like nobody had any tape on him other than what they've seen in the European League. And so it was, of course, that tape looked amazing. You're like, oh my God, he just looks like he's the next huge thing. Now, guys have had several months to review that summer league tape and see him not up against elite NBA talent, but up against other young guys in which at times he looked kind of lost. Of course, at times he looked great, but also at other times he just kept falling to the ground because he kept getting pushed over by other 18, 19-year-olds.
He would get that together. Just like you said about Kobe. Kobe had he went through his bumps and bruises,
right,
and look into the man he turned into.
But that's
same thing with this young man. I believe he'll be just fine.
But that's my whole point. Kobe didn't come in with the same hype that this young man came in with. And so Kobe was allowed to develop. I'm saying if you're going to come in as a hype machine, they give him a chance to develop first before you put him out there to expose him. I would have waited. If it was me, I would have come with a fake injury.
Hey, we're going to put the number up. We'll get you guys.
I want you guys' opinion on that. But my opinion is they should have waited. If you knew that he wasn't going to be 100%, I would have waited till preseason. And then, you can go ahead. I mean, you're going to kind of taint the first season anyway.
You know what? I got somebody that said the Angels ruined 2 Hall of Famer careers.
Oh, absolutely. The Angels have been horrible as far as how they've handled the whole Trout. And I didn't even bring up Mike Trout. Mike Trout's probably the most recognized American player in today's game. And, I mean, he's just has wallowed away in L.A. And so it's a big issue. But, I mean, let's be honest. If Mike Trout walked down the street, would you recognize him?
No, I would not.
Exactly. Now, if Tom Brady walked down the street, would you recognize him?
Yeah, I want to
Absolutely.
sign some of these cards I got.
Exactly. So I mean that is where baseball is now, is that they have a huge marketing issue. I mean, it's a great sport. I mean, we love baseball, we love watching it, but it's a huge marketing issue going forward. They have a lot of foreign born players that don't market well for whatever reason in the American market.
Mm,
Now, some reason in the NBA they're able to do it. You know, you have Doncic, now just Wembanyama. They're able to come over here and market well, but for baseball, whatever reason, they're top players. You don't know who they are outside of if you watch them on the baseball field.
right, right.
All right, so getting back to basketball though, like I said, we just kind of touched on it a little bit. I do want to talk about
I
Bronny
just wanted
James
to
though.
bring that up because he did make a comment that I overlooked.
Oh, and I appreciate it. Like I said, we
Thank you,
love.
Z.
Please bring your comments in. That's what we love to hear. We want to hear your perspective on things because, like I said, I got my perspectives, and I don't really disagree with his perspectives, but we got to listen to them anyway.
You don't want if you don't want to agree with the right perspective, then yeah, you don't have to agree with me. But it is what it is. But we'll put the number up just in case you got some things you want to get off your chest. The
Well,
number is 818-396-5080, as you see right there on your screen. That's 818-396-5080. You can holler at us. We holler back.
we do need to bring up Bronny James because I mean that was, of
course.
course, a big story in the last week and a half. To those who aren't familiar, last Monday during a practice, it was actually Sunday night. It happened at a practice at USC. He went into cardiac arrest. Thankfully, you know, being on the college campus, they were able to call to get the paramedics there immediately, get him resuscitated. During the week, they were very coy as far as coming out. You know, the family, which is very good. You know, protecting him. He got released from the hospital later in the week. He did come out with a video Monday showing him playing the piano and kind of like hanging with the family. So they're saying that he's resting at home. And you know, we're all, of course, going to have our prayers that he maintains his health. You know, it's always concerning when someone of his age goes into cardiac arrest.
My question is, there's a lot of hype about what's going on. You know, I heard a lot of propaganda being put out there about the vaccination. His family was vaccinated,
No,
and this is the come on, people, relax.
we got to be better than this, people. Think about this. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players playing basketball out there. How many have you heard of having cardiac attack in the last 2-3 years?
But they want to also point out about Hamlet, the football player that went out. But he got hit. He got hit from a hit.
Well, he got hit from a hit. It had nothing to do with a vaccine at all. The two totally different situations. And tying into that, he did come back to practice this week with the Bills. So that's great news to hear that he was able to get back out there and play.
My question is, do we want them back in this game? Bronny James has money.
Yes.
Is there a reason for him to want to prove something to go out there, or just relax, man, enjoy your life? Because what's going on with your body? What's really going on?
Well, I would say this much. And, you know, in my opinion, I think he needs to take this year off. He's a redshirt this year, practice with the team, be in a situation where he's, you know, can get the monitoring with the heart. You can't throw him out there this year.
Do you think he should play again?
Well, I mean,
once you have a cardiac arrest, it's easier for you to get the next one, right?
You would think so. And like I said, an 18 is definitely concerning at that young age that he did have this. And I mean, first thing that came to my mind, I was thinking about, of course, was Hank Gathers, who, for those who aren't familiar, back in the 90s, played at Loyola Marymount out here, was a superstar college player. He kind of brushed off initial heart issues that he was having earlier in the season. They ran on a NCAA championship run. In the NCAA tournament during a game, he went into a cardiac arrest and died on the court. Well, actually, I think died on the way to the hospital. And it was just a horrible. I just remember watching that game like it was yesterday. It was just a horrible, tragic situation. And that's the first thing that came to my mind when thinking about Bronny James is I hope they don't rush to put him back on the court like they did with Hank Gathers, you know, putting the team over his health.
Come on now. Me thinking, my perspective only, you can get mad at me if you want to. This young man has done well with his ventures by himself.
Right.
Yes, you are a phenom. Will be a phenom in basketball if you play. But your body being put under stress, not even game stress.
No.
This didn't happen in the game. This happened at practice,
Right.
where you're just going through run throughs and you're still playing at a high level at practice too. But come on now, other players have to go through this, or because they're trying to get their bank account to a certain level.
Right.
This man doesn't have to worry about money. Let's not even say about the money that his pops is going to pass down to him. But he's made his own way. He's paved his own path.
Right.
And I would love to see him play. I want to see him be better than his father. Just like his father, I know, wants to see him be better than him. But is it worth it?
It's a huge question. I mean, I got my questions. I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I got my questions as well. But like I said, at the very least, I would definitely redshirt him this year. I would definitely not put him in a situation where his health could be compromised on a game. Practice, make sure you have medical staff there on the ready in case something were to happen. I'm okay with that. But in a game situation, no, there's no way I would have him play.
And that's just like the football player that got the hit, and he experienced cardiac arrest on the field. Now, this is a different situation.
Right.
His pockets are not the same as Bronny James.
Oh, not at all.
He wasn't set up. Bronny James wasn't set up. He made his own money.
Right.
And now that the league has changed where they can make money in college also.
In high school.
Exactly. Now, it is what it is. He looks at it like he has to make his bag before he can let this rest.
Right.
Now, I believe there should be situations put up where he can get a desk job making decent money,
Right. And I also think also with him as well, it's a feel-good story. And so I think he definitely is soaking up all the tension accolade. I mean, remember, before that game, he was just, another player on the Bills. Now he steps out there, he's one of their star players based on this. So I can understand from his perspective, wanting to be out there, being an inspiration.
Attention and accolades is one thing.
Yes.
One thing. Your health is everything.
Yeah.
Without health, you're not here, buddy.
That's agreed.
And that's one thing that the players need to sit back. Everybody's body is not built to handle this. Everybody's body is not built to handle high levels.
Right.
And it's sad that it's that way, but we're all made differently.
Correct.
And once you find out a situation, do we allow this person to come back and we all be upset? Because in reality, we all watched this man get back on the field. We all let him get back on the field after we saw him. Because let's keep it real. The hit that he took, it wasn't it wasn't one of those lay you out hits. It was a nice pop. Right. It was a nice pop. Don't get me wrong. But this.
No, we would have to know his health history and find out, was there any conditions that could have led to also having this happen. So that we have not been given privy to, so we can't speak on that and sit there.
That's not going to come up because then you're going to interfere with this man's bag. But the people that's in charge need to sit back and think about these type of things, because that wasn't fun to watch. I love watching sports, and I never would like to see anybody get hurt.
No,
like that way,
Not that way, not for sure. So it's definitely going to be something we're going to be monitoring throughout the year. So we're going to keep giving updates and kind of figure out where he is as far as his health. Like I said, another thing about him too is that he's not somebody who's going to be playing every down. He's not going to be the wear and tear that someone like a Bronny James, who probably would play a majority of the games, would. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on. We're definitely going to monitor it. But that is a great segue, though, into... Should we even talk about soccer? I mean, I know the women's...
You can go over soccer a little bit, but before we go to soccer, let me give a little announcement.
Go ahead.
Hey, people, hit us up on all our social media outlets. Please like, subscribe, and share. We want to hear everything you have to say. We have a lot of stuff coming. We got a bunch of giveaways that we're doing this season. We will be doing a USC ticket giveaway and an NFL. We haven't picked what game that it'll be, but we're going to be doing giveaways and promotional things this season. We got to get our subscriber count up. We got to get it up, and we only can get it up with you guys' help, and we're asking for you guys' help.
Absolutely. And as you see in the background there, Fantasy Football Elite. we're going to be getting into a whole lot of fantasy football this year. Right now, I know you guys are probably just starting to kind of get your ideas about your fantasy football teams.
I know what team I'm picking.
Well, I don't know why. See that right there just shows you a loser mentality. How can you know your football team yet? We haven't even seen an exhibition game yet.
I knew my football team last season before it was over with, Steve.
You see, this is what I'm talking about.
I know what I'm doing.
I haven't even opened up my fantasy football book yet. I right now, until I see the first exhibition games, I need to go out there and see who's on what teams, what are they going to be trying to do before I can start making some ideas.
I'll tell y'all a little story. We all are part of the fantasy football elite, and it's a bunch of elite fantasy football players that we play with every year. We will be recording it and letting you guys see bits and clips of our draft.
Absolutely.
And we have more drafts. I'm a commissioner of a bunch of leagues, so you can DM me if you want to get in some. There is a little monetary requirement to get in, but it's all love and
it's all for love and fun. I mean, we do it because of the love of the game, the passion. It makes the game so much more interesting. It was hard for me at first when I first entered the fantasy football, because it was like, I'm not drafting any Dallas Cowboys on my team. I hate the Cowboys. But then you have to, with a fantasy football, you have to separate yourself from your love of the team and go for who's your favorite, not your favorite player. Who's going to do the best fantasy-wise?
Hey, funny story. My very first fantasy football team, I had every one of my players.
Yeah, I've done that before.
And I'll play with a bunch of guys. They laughed at me.
Yes.
Terribly, they laughed at me. And I was like, what? And I'm picking my players. They're like, ooh, you got the best player. You got the best player.
Right.
And
meanwhile, they're like, what the hell are you doing?
He's like, this guy's an idiot. He got everybody on his team.
Just remind me of that one year. Remember the one year the guy drafted Sebastian Janikowski in the first round?
And then he won a game.
And he won the game on a 62-yard field goal.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. But, we're going to go over all that. We're going to teach you the fantasy football etiquette, the fantasy football do's and don'ts. So, we got a whole lot to get into. Like I said, we're just touching the surface of what we're going to do this year.
Just scratching the surface. They laughed at me last year because I picked up my running back from the Raiders. What's his name?
Oh, you mean sending out Josh Jacobs?
But I picked him up last year. They laughed at me, and he was the number one last season.
Yeah, he had a surprise.
Number one.
I'll give you that. He had a surprise season.
It wasn't a surprise.
Well, it was
so to a fantasy football guru, that's why you see fantasy football elite. Yes. I knew that it was a contract year for the man. And in the contract year, everybody wants to perform to their peak. And this was an excellent specimen of running back.
So since you brought this up, talking about running backs, why won't the Raiders pay Josh Jacobs?
Hey, the running back, we have a situation at running back. I talked to another person on another show that told me, it's not a situation. They just got to do what they're supposed to do. And it's a big situation because now elite top 10 running backs are wanting trades to go on teams that need running backs that's willing to pay some money because they have devalued the running backs. What's going on, Steve?
Well, the average NFL player only lasts 3.5 seasons. We know this. I mean, this has been proven throughout time that NFL is not a long-term sport. I mean, you sit there for every Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's who played 15, 20 years. Most guys come and go. And so you got to market yourself to the best you can when you can, because think about 1994, Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
I mean, run, Bo, run. You just remember, oh my God. I hate the Raiders, but I love to watch Bo Jackson play. I mean, he was just a beast as a running back.
Yes,
and all it took was just one play, one situation against the Bengals. Hip injury, career over. Changed the whole thing. Career over. He was guaranteed Hall of Fame NFL if he would have had a full career. But because of that one game, that one injury, it's what could have been. And so when you're a running back, you got to market yourself as much as you can. Now, Josh Jacobs, this is his biggest contract he can get. So he needs to go out there and make sure he gets all the money he can.
They franchise tagged him now, didn't they?
Well, and he's sitting out. He's saying, I'm not going to play until
I get a contract.
And I think they tried to franchise. I think he didn't sign. In his case, he didn't sign the franchise tag.
Somebody else did that. Wasn't it Saquon? He did. Also
Saquon did. Yeah, Saquon signed the contract.
Now.
And then he didn't agree to a 1-year deal where they're going to pay him just a little bit more than what they would have franchise tagged him for. But it gives him a little more flexibility as far and flexibility as far as with bonuses, what he can do next year.
What is going to happen at the running backs with the running backs, man?
Well, it's a concern. I mean, for those
Cooks
who love
came
football,
it was the Cooks that came out and said they might as well just get rid of the running backs. Period.
Right. And then another top running back, Jonathan Taylor, he asked this week to get traded. So they're trying to hold off on paying him. And he's like, man, I've been the best thing you guys had the last several years.
So it's clearly a situation.
Oh, it's a situation. I mean, there's definitely, I hate to use that dirty C word, collusion, but it seems like there's some level of collusion among the owners as far as how
NFL
they're
as a whole,
how they're handling the running back situation. So, because it doesn't seem like no other positions having this problem. So
quarterbacks is getting
paid. Quarterbacks getting paid. I mean,
like they play by themselves.
Even tight ends are getting paid.
Somebody asked a good question. They said, "Could a team survive with a quarterback at every position?"
Absolutely not.
So then they asked another question. Then why do they get paid so much money? Like they're the only person on the team.
Great question. And the only thing I can think about that is the marketing. It goes back to the quarterback marketing means more to NFL merchandising, how they can market these guys. That's the only thing I can think of why they're getting paid so much huge money.
Running back's a big part of the marketing.
Yeah, but once again,
everybody loves a hard-hitting running back.
Okay, once again, what running back that you saw on the street that you would say, oh, there's so-and-so? Name me one running back right now in the NFL that you can right now say for sure certain that if you saw them out at the club, saw them at such and such, you'd be like, oh, there's so-and-so.
Well, that's just like you said, it's the way they market them.
It's the way they market them. Now in the NFL, I can name you 5 or 6 quarterbacks off the bat that immediately you see them, you know, okay, I know immediately who that is.
I saw what was it? McNabb at the Marina Del Rey. At the movie theater.
Right. And
he stayed right over there.
And you see him and he's like, okay, there's McNabb, you know, because McNabb was
and he hadn't played in a while. And I was like, McNabb.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. The quarterback position is marketed so well. You see him in commercials. I mean, remember those commercials with McNabb and his mom? Well, I think it was a chunky suit.
Running backs do those same commercials.
But I'm asking you the question now. Name me one running back in today's NFL that you can look at right now. Now, there used to be a time when we recognized NFL running backs. They were celebrities just like the quarterbacks were. But I'm talking about in today's NFL. Name me one running back that you can look at and for certain you can sit there and say, oh, there's so-and-so.
Well, this is something that needs to be handled.
It needs to be
quickly.
Yeah, so the NFL has definitely done a collusion as far as how they're treating the running back position. They're being put down as far as just being
it's sad.
Okay players. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're kind of like almost sitting in the same lines of offensive linemen who have long been not recognized as being stars. I mean, they're just part of a unit.
Hey, well, if it's okay with you, since they want to market a certain position, let's talk about the QB position. Let's talk about the QB of QBs, Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, you mean Mr. Hype?
What you mean, Mr. Hype?
You want to get into Jets hype?
I'm talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the man that's going to take the Jets all the way, Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
The hype machine is just so ridiculous nowadays on social media.
You don't think so?
Now, I'm going to ask you this question. When did Aaron Rodgers last win the Super Bowl?
Why you want to bring that up, Steve?
Point exactly. It's been 12 years since Aaron Rodgers last won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
12 years.
Okay.
In this time period, when's the last time he's been to the Super Bowl?
Okay, Steve.
12 years. Now, all of a sudden, 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers is supposed to find the fountain of youth and go back to something that he hasn't done since he was 28. And all of a sudden now, and I talked to you about this. I'm bringing it up on the show.
Just so much hate coming from this side of the room.
If I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, I am disgusted with Aaron Rodgers. Disgusted.
Why so? Why so, Steve?
Because this man the Green Bay Packers for the last 6-7 years. The Packers have been saying, please, let's go out and get some talent around you. Let's build a championship team. And Aaron Rodgers has selfishly said, no, give me the money. Give me the money. Give me the money. Not going out, not recruiting guys. I remember we had this talk about a year or two ago, and I told you about how Aaron Rodgers wasn't recruiting nobody, wasn't going out there speaking on getting guys to come to Green Bay.
Now,
and you sat there and said, no, it's the Packers' fault.
It is the Packers' fault.
Now, right now, Aaron Rodgers, if those who have been following, he took a pay cut of $35 million.
$35 million.
And went out and publicly asked Dalvin Cook, please come play for us. Something he never did when he was at Green Bay. Never came out and openly petitioned for a guy. Never came out and tried to help.
He's going to be on the team too.
Yeah. And so right now he's doing for the Jets what he should have done for the Packers a couple of years ago when they had him as MVP and they had a championship level team. They could have gone on and got that player or two to put them over the hump. And he refused to do that for the Green Bay fans. So if you're a Green Bay fan, I think you should burn his jersey.
Okay. Now you heard from Steve. Now that was the hate. Now let's tell about the real. And what the real is, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been happy for 12 years since he got to the Super Bowl. And why? Because first he was getting into it with his coach. He was getting into it with the staff. They did not see eye to eye.
Do we have a crying sound effect over there? Do we have a wah sound effect? We need to make sure we get a wah sound effect.
We will be doing that. Yes, I like that. But
he's crying over his hundreds of $millions that he's won over.
But let's be honest with it. Let's be serious right now. Now the seriousness about the situation is Aaron Rodgers was not happy in Green Bay after the Super Bowl, after getting into it with his coach repeatedly, after getting into it with the front office. Now, what happens when you don't get along with the front office or the coach? That means that it's irreconcilable differences and you need to move on. Now, clearly, Green Bay did not feel this, did not understand this, but I understood it, and I told you back then that they're not on the same wavelength. Aaron Rodgers should have been off that team 7 years ago, way before now, and Green Bay single-handedly did themselves in. Management did themselves in because they listened to fans and the hype because Aaron Rodgers brought you to the playoffs all the time. But this is not like I talked to somebody yesterday when I was playing poker with, and it's not about the playoffs. It's about going to the big game. And you know that Aaron Rodgers did not like you, did not see the eye to eye with you, which means that you should have shifted to love as soon as you got him and put and got where you could trade Aaron Rodgers for and get some collateral for him. Smart thinking in the office, which they did not do. And now, Steve. Now, if you think back, I told you about this years ago. This is the way things should have moved. You can't get mad at him for like, you know what? I don't like this place, but if you're gonna pay me, give me my money. No, he didn't want to work with them. Why would he want to work with them when the reason why he had issues with them is because the stuff that he was saying, he was put in his place and told him to be a quarterback, which put the separation in there. Now I understand a front office player and the player is supposed to play, but guess what? This is 2023. Players have more saying what goes on, and this clearly was a break a long time ago, and the team held on too long. They paid him in detriment to the team where they couldn't put other people on the team.
Paid him well.
Hey, you blame him for getting his bag?
So
you blame him for getting over? No.
Yeah.
You see now that he's on another team. Cut my paycheck. Give this man some money. Bring him over here, and let's do this.
Okay. Well, you know what? The proof's going to be in the pudding. Let's see how they play this year. Because right now, this is the same situation we had a couple of years ago with Matthew Stafford. Remember the Matthew Stafford thing?
Super Bowl
or bust. And so
Super Bowl.
So all you guys hyping
and I called it.
You did call it. So all you guys hyping up Aaron Rodgers, if there's no Super Bowl, it's a horrible decision they made.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is his first year there.
Okay.
It's his first year there, and he's on the caliber of a Matthew Stafford or better. Now, this is the thing. He's dealing with some juggernauts out there. You know, the Buffalo Bills ain't no joke.
No, they're not.
The man,
Miami Dolphins, don't forget about them.
hey, no joke.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's we got a person over here that's turned into the face of the NFL, and he goes by the name of Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
And that's the main man right there.
The team that just quietly, they're saying, okay, let you guys hype the Jets up. Everybody, Jets. Right. We're just quietly going to go about our business.
Aaron Rodgers is going to do some dirt this year.
Okay.
Fantasy people, you better take heed. Aaron Rodgers is going to do some dirt this year.
Have you seen their schedule? Their schedule is going to be a beast. So
they got a beast of a quarterback right now.
All righty.
A beast of a quarterback.
Beast of a quarterback. So, but we'll get a chance to see him a lot of times. So we'll get a chance early on to see if he's going to be the proof in the pudding. But yes, he is the hype machine. So yeah, we're getting some Jets hype. But I heard some Cowboys hype this week.
The Cowboys.
Why?
Hey, star status. That's him talking. That's the club that follows the star status. Give a shout out to star status. Hey, look,
star status. Give me a can. We've had this talk before about America's team. You can't be America's team unless you win championships. And right now, the last championship I've seen with the Dallas Cowboys was 1997.
Woo!
Bill Clinton was still not even messing with Monica Lewinsky yet in 1997.
Woo!
Let's talk about that's how far away the last time the Cowboys won a championship. You can't be America's team when you are nothing but winning one playoff game every 6 years. Come on now. Oh my goodness. And the worst culprit of this, I'm gonna talk about who the worst culprit is. Jerry Jones.
Hey, he went on to pay Ezekiel Elliott. For what?
For what? I mean, Jerry Jones is, I give him credit. He's an amazing businessman. I mean, he has taken an organization that really is a middle of the run organization and made billions off of it.
A-star status. That hit him and his DM is about all of the disrespect. I'm gonna say this: Dallas Cowboy fans, star status. Your defense is sick. Oh my goodness! If you just had the quarterback that could do the thing, Dak Prescott. I just I want to see it, but I just don't see it. I've been high on their backup Rush. Yeah. I believe if you give Rush a chance, he can rush it past what Dak can't. Because right now, you got the team now. You got the wide receivers now. Like you said, the proof's in the pudding. Hey, I'm waiting to eat some of this pudding. What's going on?
All I see an Eagles team that was better than them last year. Ooh. And now they've gotten even better than they were last year. So how can the Cowboys jump over them when they weren't better than them last year and they got better in the offseason? I don't see it. I think the Cowboys will be good. They'll be solid. They might even be a wild card team. But it's going to be much of the same, and they're going to dump everything on Dak. It's going to be Dak's fault.
Hey, look, let me do mine. Hey, Eagles fans, you guys were awesome last season. I didn't believe in you all last season, and I was a fool not to believe in you. But I believe this season we're going to really see what y'all made of. Can y'all return back to the high hopes that you had last season? Can y'all return back to the engine that y'all did last season? Because last season y'all were phenomenal. But this season, I want to see, Steve. I want to see. I'm not convinced because last season I thought they was a big hype.
Well, yeah, you did. I mean, the whole season you just was just waiting for them to fall. They never fell.
But at the same time, the whole NFC was hot garbage last season, except for just a couple teams.
Well,
the AFC was the team that was just doing it. AFC way surpasses the NFC right now
Right.
in juggernaut teams. Not even juggernauts, just
Teams in
standouts.
general. Yeah, just teams in general.
standouts.
Yeah.
You know,
No question.
the NFC last season we only had what 2 standouts, 3.
At that, I say 2. But that being said, the Eagles do have that first place schedule, so they're gonna have some. The schedule's gonna be tough, and we're gonna see what they're made of. So, but I just
Got to see what they made of.
I like the lineup they have, though. I think they improved the running game. I think they improved that their wide receivers are going to be stronger.
Yep.
I just think Jalen Hurts has already shown what he can do,
And I'm a fan.
So yeah,
I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts.
I am as well.
If anyone can do it, he can do it.
Listen to me. When Pack and I agree on something, that guy's special because he has that mentality. He wants to jam it down your throat.
Yes, sir.
He's the anti Aaron Rodgers.
Hey.
He's somebody says, I don't need the money. I need championships.
Hey, all I can say in fantasy football, I need the money.
Yeah, well, Jalen Hurts on the offseason said, don't pay me $50 million a year. Get me the talent around me and give me Super Bowl rings. That's what I want. Brilliant. So, yeah, you're gonna run through a wall for that type of quarterback. But speaking of quarterbacks, we be a miss. We miss or a miss. I don't even know what word I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Getting back to those Jets, the Nathaniel Hackett, Aaron Rodgers situation. So for those who are unfamiliar,
why is it a situation?
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Those who are unfamiliar, Sean Payton, who now is the coach of the Denver Broncos, former coach for a long time of the Saints when they had the Drew Brees era, Super Bowl champion. He came out and did something that I guess apparently broke the coach's code. Did you ever know about the coach's code?
I've heard bits and pieces about it, but didn't never really know what they were talking about.
So I guess apparently the so-called coach's code is that a coach is not supposed to badmouth another coach. Now, what's that about? When did it become a situation where if a coach sees something that another coach is not doing, you can't sit there and say it? I mean, players badmouth other players all the time.
Well, you got to put it in context. First of all, he's taking over a team that this man was coaching, right?
Correct.
And he has to install that battery back into his team their heart was snatched out last season because whoever was throwing the ball last season, his name was Russell Wilson, but that wasn't his name on that team last season.
Okay.
Because that's what we kept talking about.
But
who is that man?
Who is it? But time out. Who last year throughout the whole season when you were just desecrating Russell Wilson? I'm just totally just bad-mouthing the man. Who was the one who last year said, I think it's the coaching. I think there's some issues on that team. The team don't look organized. I think there's issues as far as how things are being called. I think Russell Wilson is kind of getting a bad. Did I not say that all last season? Was I not one who was defending Russell Wilson a little bit?
You see the face, Steve?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Now, yes, you were the one defending Russell Wilson, but guess what? I was the man that put Russell Wilson on my fantasy football team,
right?
And you can say what you want about it was coaching. It was coaching. Wasn't it that man, the man throwing the ball to the man down the way?
Yeah, but
or was it the coach?
But let me ask you a question.
Tell me, Steve,
I'm gonna tell you.
Was it Russell Wilson?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Or was it the coach?
You know, as someone who played football, you understand. Football is about precision, about timing, about organization. You could be the most amazing quarterback ever, but if the guy's not in the right place, if the guy don't know what the play is, or the guy don't know the situation, you can't give him the ball. Unless you got like a Randy Moss, where you can just throw the ball up in the air and just catch everything.
Russell Wilson wasn't throwing the ball to no rookies. He was throwing the ball to Judy. He was throwing
But he was throwing the ball in a situation where they just weren't organized. They didn't know where the ball was going to go to. They didn't know the plays. They were the worst team in the NFL as far as getting plays called in on time. They had more delayed games than any other team in the NFL. There was a serious situation there as far as the coaching there.
Okay.
Now my man, who I now have a little more respect for, Sean Payton, did something that we never see coaches do, which is say, that coach was garbage last year. I went through and ran through the whole plays and this and that and that. Me being somebody who knows how to coach, I could see that the team was hardly disorganized. There was a lot, and Russell Wilson was kind of giving a bum rap because how's he supposed to win in that situation?
Well, Steve, like I'm saying, and I'm glad you pointed out, he was supposed to do that. He had to give his man his heart back because his heart got ripped out last season.
Yeah.
What was he supposed to go there while the team is in disarray and be like, well, we just had a bad season? No, he had to go and he had to. The blame had to be put on someone and taken off of the players so they can so they can put a brand new hat on. Because right now, all of them had on little jester hats because they look like clowns out there.
So let me ask
season.
a question then. So do you respect what Sean Payton did, or do you think Sean Payton was wrong?
I think he was right.
Okay.
I don't think he was wrong. I think he did. He did what he needed to do to get that team back in the head in the right situation.
Thank you.
And any coach should do that because last season, like I said, they looked horrible. No, they look horrendous last season, and it is what it is.
All right, we might start to get along this season a little bit. Maybe a little bit we'll get along this season. Thank you.
Hey,
but let's talk about but who's the person who comes out though now and wants to try to throw dirt on Sean Payton? Aaron freaking Rodgers. Now, why are you putting your little 2 cents in? Just because Nathaniel Hackett now is your offensive coach, you don't need to put your little 2 cents in. You don't know the situation. You didn't watch the film to see what was going on with Russell
Steve, once again, now this man is on a different organization.
Right.
And he's also in an organization with the man Aaron Rodgers, the man that's supposed to bring this team back to life. He's being coached by this man now. So he got down. Aaron Rodgers has to uplift his coach because he can't go in there thinking that he's about to be in disarray like Russell Wilson was last season. You're not about to have everybody in media thinking that he's about to go out there and look like Russell Wilson. Of course.
So they just come out and say, look, we're happy to have Nathaniel Hackett. We're looking forward to having a great season.
No. This is a sport. And this is what I want people to understand. In this sport, you know what I hate? When you see on the sidelines and let's say this is your team and they're losing and you see people smiling. Yeah. What the heck are you smiling about? We're losing. Now I understand you guys are exactly making the money, but to a fan, we want you just as upset as we are. And that's what's going on now. Aaron Rodgers is showing that, look, you know what? This is my coach. You're not going to disrespect him right now, and we're going to go out there and get some wins.
All right, so let's see what he does. Then you want to sit there and defend that? That's fine. But at least you understood that Sean Payton was right in what he did, and his coach's code needs to go out the window. If you stink it up as a coach, we want to hear so. We don't want to hear this. We won't say nothing because we don't want to insult anybody or hurt anybody's feelings.
But hey, people, thank you for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please like, subscribe, and share. And hit us in on all our social media outlets. You can hit us in the DM on Facebook, or you can put it in the comments on YouTube. Holler at us, we holler back. Like I said, we got a bunch of contests coming, and things are going to evolve a little bit. And we're gonna have the fantasy football thing that you're gonna get into. We're gonna put it up on the screen next week, so you can all get involved.
But I do want to have one final word before we end this out.
Go ahead.
As I mentioned before, Washington Commanders, now led by Josh Harris and Magic Johnson, who's now going to be the face of the franchise. And one of the first things Magic came out and said the week they signed the team was they're looking at a possible name change for next year. So, of course, Redskin fans are now all excited because now they've started a petition that already has 50,000 signatures to change the name back to the Washington Redskins. So if you're interested in signing the petition,
go online.
A real petition? I thought that was a real petition, yes, about changing the name back to the Redskins. And supposed to have some support by some native groups. And so if you're interested, go online, look it up for Redskins petition, change the name back to the Redskins, sign it if you're interested, and we're going to get into more talk about the season.
The Redskins again?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think the NFL has already gone down that road.
The NFL has already disapproved of the name, and they're the
right.
ones that kind of egged them along to change it, right?
But I think we're going to try to get a name that's more native friendly, like Red Hawks or Red Wolves. Remember I love Red Wolves?
That Red Wolves is hot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for that.
Yeah, I like Red Wolves, even settle for Red Hawks. But I think they're going to get a native name.
But you guys need to keep that uniform that I told you.
Keep the uniform, keep everything in the clay, but definitely a name change has to happen because the Commanders just has the Snyder's stench all over it.
Washington, that hat you got on, that W is still dope too. Even the
Oh.
Washington team, because a lot of teams don't do that. That's
Right.
still good.
We can keep that as long as, like I said, as long as we change that name, I think heading in the right direction. So I just wanted to close on that. We're looking, like I said, we're going to get into a lot more. We didn't really get into the injuries this week. Next week, we're going to talk about those injuries.
We got way more to come.
We got way more to come because we had a lot of big injuries happen this first week of the training camp. But we'll get into those next week. So enjoy it. We got our first game tomorrow. Jets versus Browns, the Hall of Fame game.
Football.
I know. I've already set my schedule around, making sure I'm free. I guess come on 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific time. Yes.
Please like, subscribe, and share. And you can hit us on all our social media outlets. And we'll see you next week, same time, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, right?
Absolutely. So excited. Let's go ahead and watch some football.
Yep. And thank you for tuning in.
All right. Peace out.